Okay. Glad I checked the audio input. Okay. So I'm gonna be talking about an interview I had earlier today. The questions that were asked so that you in turn can prepare. So the position was for a software engineer intern. So you have to do some research into the company. Like while you're applying for different jobs, do your research. Like learn about, what they're about, what their mission is, how you can fit into the company. Okay. So a typical question that you'll get, the very first question is, tell me about yourself. And when you get asked this question, they're not asking about your hobbies or what you did during the weekend or what your favorite color is. They're asking about your educational background. Educational and career background. They're basically asking you to briefly explain or like briefly tell them what you have on your resume, aka elevator speech. Okay, another question. So that's the very first question. The last question they'll have is, do you have any questions for me? And what is that asking for? That is they're asking to see how much research you have done about their company. Because while you're looking into their background, going to their website, LinkedIn, looking into backgrounds of the CEO or director, it shows interest. Shows in research and interest. They're wondering if they should invest in you, because recruiting costs more than 100% of what they would pay you annually in order to recruit you. I believe it's 140%. Okay. So after tell me about yourself. Oh, and also, do you have any questions for me is also a chance for you to ask about, the benefits and all that stuff. Although maybe it's not the very best thing to ask when it comes to benefits, especially for a recruiter, because they might not know. Okay. Another question that I got was, what made you apply to this job? What interested you? So this question is so that they understand how, like, what the connection is between your educational and career background and their mission, or like the mission of the company has to match with whatever your educational or career backgrounds are, or volunteer experience, because you need to be able to tie company to your own interests. This is where you can display your passions. What makes you passionate or sort of desperate for this position? Although you shouldn't be super desperate, it's kind of like dating, okay? So interviewing for a company is like dating. Think of it as a conversation. It always helps me out. Like when I put it in my calendar, I don't put it in as an interview. I say just a like conversation or discussion with such and such company. That way I don't psych myself out. That's one of the magics, or whatever you call it, I do. Okay. Let's see. Another question you would get would be, do you know how to use, are you familiar with these languages? If is for software engineering, especially for an internship, they'll ask, are you familiar with Git? They'll ask about the languages that they use. Java, Python, JavaScript, etc. Mainly these 3 languages, I believe, are pretty popular, especially Python. Okay. The other question that I got was, what do I believe is the most important non-technical skill to have? My answer was communication. Because in the tech sector, you have a lot of folks who just focused on learning the technical aspect of computer science and software engineering and didn't pay much attention, or it wasn't important for them to go to speech class or public speaking classes or whatever, So there might be a lot of introverts or socially awkward folks, and communication can bridge the gap between you and your manager, your coworkers, your project manager, etc. Okay. And there's usually always a question in any sort of interview about a challenge you faced. Challenge faced and how you overcame. How you overcame it. They ask this to see how there's always going to be challenges in the workplace. When it comes to projects, when it comes to interpersonal relationships, and you need to show that you have experience overcoming those situations. They also want to know that they're getting an emotionally, what is it called? EQ? Emotional quotient? Emotional intelligence. Intelligence. Okay. Another question that I got was, how do you manage time? That was also another question that I remember I had with another job interview I had recently. So, do you manage time? The example that I gave, or the way I explained how I manage my time, is I have a Panda planner, which I have a video on that, and there's also a discount code, FYI. But I manage my time through taking notes and reflecting on how I spent my time the previous week or the previous sprint. I would look back on the calendar and see, oh, okay, I spent this amount of time on design, development, testing, etc. Because so I use calendars, both physical and electronic calendars, and let's see, planners. Yeah. Okay. And then I asked, so when the recruiter asked, do you have any questions for me, I asked about the pay. And I also asked about benefits. How is there any timeline that has been like formed, especially for internships? You have to be wary of internships that are basically designed to get really cheap labor from people. So you don't want to get used, so you need to look for the red flags of internship positions. Let me know if you're interested in learning more about the red flags. Okay. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I will post more of this style of discussion on my YouTube channel, focused on career growth and the tech sector. And sometimes I might put a social commentary in there. Okay, thank you. Bye.